my name is Alexis, and today I will be going over my topic or theme for the Hunger Games presentation, the Collins presentation, and that would be celebrities. So first of all, my ideas that I will be going over briefly is about celebrity and their impressions towards like their audiences and how they influence people, and just overall how celebrities are viewed in, I guess, our modern day culture and society versus the Hunger Games and like in the capital and between the districts and their involvement. And also their status mostly, because the capital and the districts obviously have a pretty big comparison of what they have and what they don't have, and as in rules of like power and like hierarchy and stuff like that. And also that like is very relative to another idea I have about like poverty and fame, and how celebrities are either born into, wealth and riches and luxuries, and how some celebrities just, work really hard to get up where they're at in status and whatnot. So I'll be going over those ideas. So first of all, from what I've watched in the, because I've never seen the Hunger Games and I've never read the books, so this is really a good like eye-opener and I guess perspective, and especially when I was writing notes, I took a lot of helpful notes to help me with this paper and the presentation. So first of all, I noticed that Katniss and her district, well, most of the districts, were mostly seen in the forest areas, like really cut off from like other civilizations unless they are transported there, where we see Katniss and Peeta take a train with their mentor Haymitch. But anyways, we noticed that Katniss in District 12 with her family and her young sister Prim, and Peeta that lives in the same District 12 but in a little, well, he works at a bakery, so I assume he has a little more resources that Katniss does not have. I also noticed that Katniss and her family live in a rundown, like really rundown cabin. There's holes everywhere, there's smoke coming out of the cabin. It's really like looking like it's decomposing, and we see that Katniss is showering, but she has like a tin, like a really big tin like thing of water and a towel with some soap, which is pretty much what they have the closest to taking a shower versus like how we take a shower in America. We have running water, we have warm water, and we have electricity. And it seems that Katniss and her family does not have that luxury. They do not have running water. They are pretty much famished. They have to hunt for their food, as we see like Katniss hunting very desperately for some deer or squirrel, rabbit, which seem to be like a popular game in the districts, especially in District 12. And most importantly, they do not have electricity at all versus the capital. Once Katniss and Peeta go to the capital, it's very, very distinguished from what they're not used to, because in the districts it's very poverty and very poor and very desperate, angry, and most importantly like very fearful because of these Hunger Games that have been going on for about 74 years and counting. So Katniss and Peeta are not used to this at all, and I'm assuming some of the tributes are not used to this type of luxury or like being treated like a celebrity to their society from the capital. So Caesar, Flickerman, and the Game Maker are seen as celebrities, and they really do influence their society and the capital's citizens because they like to watch for entertainment. So they go to the host, which is Caesar, and he interviews Katniss and Peeta, and their mentor Haymitch like reminds them to like get sponsors, which are like general supporters for money and wealth on their side, especially towards the mentor, so they can have all these clothes and designs and food, so they're basically not starving. But they are treated like celebrities through most of the movie, even though Katniss is very stubborn at first to welcome this, but she needs the sponsorship, and the people to like her. Which brings me to the topic of cancel culture. Apparently it's been a phenomenon that's really have grown in like our COVID-19 when it first started going. So basically, cancel culture is like a practice where people come together, especially fans, and they remove the offenders and basically shut down public figures like celebrities, and fans are really quick to do this. And this was taken as an excerpt or paraphrased from Jobert and Coffin's 2020 article that they wrote. But they were just talking about cancel culture and what it means and how it affects, our today's like modern society. Because on YouTube, TikTok, and especially with all these medias we are fortunate kind of have right now, cancel culture is just a really big phenomenon, and it's really affecting a lot of celebrities. And I've noticed that on their article they talked about the Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, how she made an offensive statement about transgender people, and how basically her fans and other people really started not to like her anymore because of her statements and basically canceled her. So I just learned about this right now, so I think that was pretty interesting. So in other words, just watch what you say, watch what you do, or these people will come after you and will basically cancel you for better words. So again, it was very important for PETA and Katniss to be liked by this society, so they could give them sponsorship and just to be like treated as a celebrity through the eyes of the Capitol and not really the district. I think it's pretty much like survival of the fittest at this point in the movie. So as I said before, the districts are very run down when compared to the Capitol, and then I'm assuming this is because the Capitol is like the top notch, like they rule the districts. It's like a government, and I think because of President Snow, this is also, validation of that. Easily you could see rundown cabins, people living in poverty versus these people dressed up in dresses, tuxedos, crazy hair, makeup, capes, expensive like luxury items that people in the districts simply don't have or have any of that luxury, and it's just really sad. We have to see Katniss basically hunt for her food, and people are like eating like bones to the point that the flesh and meat are gone, and this is from animals obviously. And it was taken back to Gale and Katniss when he takes out a piece of bread or this little thing of pastry, and Katniss is just like, "Wow, you got this? Is it real?" And then that's when I realized that this was a real problem in their society. Like these people are starving and becoming desperate and are very fearful because they're going to these games, and 24, but like 23 of these people or tributes will die, and only one victor will come out alive. So that just seems like very crazy and unfair, and just really unruly on how this society and the Hunger Games is like pretty much ruled out, and it's just really messed up. I was also reading an article by Bernie Sanders, and he says that 46 million Americans just live below the poverty line. And if you are poor, you basically have 6.5 years less than the upper class, middle class citizens here in America. So that's very worrying. And I know we as Americans have been struggling for a long time, whether that be poverty or politics, how our government runs us as well. I'm not going to get too much into politics because I, for one, don't really understand too much, or I just don't want to get too much into that topic because it's not really what I'm talking about here, but it's a little bit. I was comparing the Capitol to the district and how the Capitol pretty much rules and it's on top of the districts, and yeah, they're pretty much the ones in charge right now at this point. Katniss and PETA are not born into wealth, as the games were about like 74 years and still running, which is a long time. 74 years is a while. It's a long time. So they've been doing these games for very, very long, and obviously a lot of tributes have died over the time of these games of, you know, barbarically like dying, killing each other, fighting each other to the death until one person comes out alive. Obviously the districts are not happy with this because as soon as Rue, Katniss's befriend, little girl, I think she's about 12 years old because it's 12 through 18 when these contestants are forcibly made to fight and kill at this point for these games for the Capitol's entertainment, which is really messed up. But yeah, once Rue is dead, everyone could see these screens. Once the games are going on, everyone could see what's going on. And yeah, basically Rue, she dies, and Katniss buries her in District 11. That's where Rue is from. We see that a giant riot like forms, and yeah, these people are very unhealthy and very unhappy, and they started retaliating against the peacemakers, and the peacemakers are these guards dressed in white, helmets, shields. They're basically like SWAT or like police officers, but as soon as that happened, they were quick to like stop and halt, put the riot at a stop, because these people they had enough. And personally, if I were in this situation, I would have enough too, and, you know, retaliate myself. But yeah, it's very dangerous where these people live in the districts. They're very not happy, and they decided to take action. Furthermore, we see that Haymitch, when Katniss is in the games and the arenas with her other colleagues and tributes, her enemies, I guess, at that point, he sees a family of 4. I think this dad gives his son a sword, a play sword. It's not a real sword. I hope it's not a real sword. But anyways, he gives a sword to him, and he starts chasing around his sibling, and just Haymitch has this really like ill, like bothered expression. Like, you didn't have to communicate what was happening on, because you could see in his eyes and his expression that this nonverbal communication was symbolizing that he was not happy. Like, he was almost disgusted in a way, because the people in the Capitol do not need to fight till death. They're not starving. They don't need so many or want so many things, that it was kind of ironic for him to see this. Because the Capitol, the Capitol's people do not need to do this. It's only the district, and it's very obligating and very, again, messed up. Some people, like the Capitol, are born into this wealth. They're born into this hierarchy because of their parents, their family, and their history and their ancestors. So I was reading an article, and it says that we all know that Paris Hilton, or the Hiltons, Paris got her wealth from her parents because of the Hilton franchise, the hotels, all the money. So that's mostly where she got her wealth from, and her recognizable name, besides the media. And then we also have Richie, Lionel Richie's daughter, who is also born into wealth because Lionel Richie, we know he's a musician, singer, making all these albums and stuff like that. So your parents, if they're, you know, made into wealth, they're born into wealth, you are born into wealth, but at a certain like point, is what I'm saying. And then we have a quote I find kind of funny, because it's from Johnson & Johnson. Found in the same article a quote from Johnson & Johnson. He says that everything they do revolves around money. They're either making it or spending it. That's their identity, but they don't want to talk about it. So it's obviously no joke that celebrities either are making money or spending money. I don't think there's none in between, unless they donate, you know, money to like organizations or for science research, kind of for conservation, like forests and stuff like that. So at this point, I kind of agree with this quote from Johnson & Johnson. They either are making it or spending it, and that's their identity. Or so that's how we, as non-celebrities in our, I guess, upper class, middle class society, are viewing celebrities at this point, because they are making money, obviously, and they get spent it on these big houses, mansions, shoes, like Gucci clothes, Teslas, like luxury, like everything luxury at this point. The last sentence says, but they don't want to talk about it. What do they not want to talk about? Is it like their life, or like how they were born into this, or are they just like, it's like a routine for them? I'm not sure, because I'm not rich. I'm just like a middle class, you know, student like most of you are. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting excerpt or quote from my article that I was reading about. So yeah, I know the assignment was to not really compare and contrast how celebrities and like poverty and just status and poverty and fame like is in comparison to the Hunger Games, where it kind of is if you think about it and do the research that I have done. Obviously I'm on the negative side of this because people do struggle, and it's unfortunate that we have to cancel people or shut people down because they do a mistake. I know some people apologize or just basically run and leave, which is not really responsible in my perspective at least. And yeah, the capital from the Hunger Games are very distinguished people, and they are basically using the district as some sort of coin or entertainment for lives, basically, and it's really sad. But yeah, thank you for watching my presentation. I hope it wasn't boring or anything like that. Okay, thank you, bye.